Squad Senior back again. We're getting ready to do a day 3 on this teardown on this M. Been away from this thing for a few days. Anyway, I got some projects getting ready to take it to the welding shop. One of them is right here. I've got this 5 horsepower Monarch engine that I've been working on last winter until I found out that the head has some cracks in from hard water. You know how some of you guys realize how that is, but hard to see on the video. But I got one going down here. I've got a water jacket going through here and another one down in here. So that'll be going to the shop here in the next day or so. I'm not sure if they'll weld this thing or pin it. And I'll walk up to the other shop and show you what else I've been working on in the last few days here. Okay, here's the other project. This is the steering housing and radiator support for that experimental 445 tractor. This is the other piece we're taking into the welding shop to get done. If you've guys been following the restoration on this at all, you know that we have this front piece here. Broke off here. Not sure how that happened. Previous owner did that. But if you've been following this restoration, it's been just one hurdle after another. So I've been prepping this thing ready, get it ready for the shop. Plan on taking it down there the next day or so and get that started on anyway. At least drop it off. As if you guys have been following, this is for the front piece of this experimental. So pecking away at it slow but sure. Summer kind of takes a lot of our time away from this restoration. More winter projects we're into. So the M, that's kind of a priority. That's why I got into that, because I want that ready and going for winter time. Snow comes, so it gives me just an extra piece of equipment. Anyway, we get started on that M. Okay, let's get on with this engine teardown. As you can see, I've got this thing kind of on a redneck type engine stand for the temporary time. Had some beeline strut, had to just oblong some holes a little bit, put it in the front motor mounts. Just lag screw some 2x4s to the back mounting plate on the back of the engine. You know, it's kind of funny how temporary solutions can become so permanent. I don't know how that seems to happen. I'm sure none of the rest of you guys have that problem. Anyway, I've done a little bit of other stuff here. In the meantime, I did clean up them surprise pieces from the bell housing. As you can see, this thing has been flipped a couple times. There's some wear patterns right here. Its final resting spot, you can see where it's by my thumb there, where she run on the flywheel. If you compare it to the flywheel, you can see where it's been running right on that front corner. So at one time or another, this thing has flipped around in there and come to its final resting spot. That's kind of a situation, or maybe we got lucky. Really crusty inside there. It's hard to see with the lighting in here and stuff, but you can take a scraper in there and just, you can see the buildup of just one little pile of stuff in there. So another thing you guys have been asking also is how do I organize the parts for this thing as I tear it down. A lot of it is put underneath the tractor, kind of in order, taken out. Easy to get at when I want to get into rebuilding the thing. Did take a little time yesterday and kind of straighten up the shop before I get into this. Got some workbenches cleaned off a little bit, throwing tools on the stuff in the meantime. Another way I organize parts is I use a lot of individual containers instead of throwing them all in one bucket. As you can see here, this is removing the front axle. This is the front bolster engine removal. And this is like the accessories off the engine, water pump, governor, hydraulic pump, manifold, stuff like that. So it's easier to dig through individual buckets for whatever item you're working on than to try and have one into a big bucket and kind of go from there. It's just a lot easier to find the pieces you need. So I think the first thing we'll do, we'll start getting this clutch, pressure plate, and flywheel off. Okay, I've got the bolts all loosened up on the pressure plate. When I take these off, I like to take them off a little bit at a time, each bolt. Seems like it's better on the springs, I believe. As you can see, you can watch the fingers working out as I loosen these. Okay, one bolt left. We'll take that out. We'll get this thing up on the bench and see what we have. Okay, let's diagnose and see what we got here. First we'll look inside the flywheel. I don't like what I see. I see a lot of heat cracking, a little bit wear pattern, like it could be warped. You can see a spot in there where the disc hasn't even been touching. Don't like that looks of that at all. Let's go check out the plate and the pressure plate and disc. Okay. Pressure plate is not good either. One horrendous crack you can see in there, just all kinds of small cracks all around the perimeter of this thing. Really bad. You can see the disc starting to get into rivets, so both of them for sure have to be replaced, and I'm not sure that flywheel's not looking good either. So diagnose that later, but I think all three pieces are due for new. Next up on the list is a flywheel. This has got to come off so we can get it mounted to the engine stand. Gets access to the crankshaft when that's got to be pulled, stuff like that. So next we'll see what we can do. These are usually horrendously tight on these flywheel bolts. I see they do have fold over locks on them. We'll get them locks folded flat and get a wrench on them, start loosening it up. Looks like it could be substantial weight. I may have to use a cherry picker on this. We'll see when we get to it. Okay, when I take and flatten out the locks, I just use a cold chisel. It don't have to be a sharp one. You don't really want to tear these up too bad. I'll just start working it down until I get back behind. And again, just kind of angle it, get out to the end. And you got to get clearance for your socket to get on there. That's what you got to do. So really no big deal, but that's the way I go about it. Okay, let's finish taking the bolts off and see if we can get this thing off here without hurting ourselves. These are usually mounted on dowel pins and they can be stubborn at times. There we go. Success. Next order of business, head's going to come off. I like a low like this. Makes it easier to get everything loosened up, stuff like that. Lifting is a whole lot easier. You don't have to lift over your head. Probably using a cherry picker on it anyway. First off will be the rocker arm push rods. I take the rocker arm loose. I'll do each bolt a little bit at a time. You have your valve spring tension that's pushing up against that shaft. And I'm afraid that if you don't do a little bit at a time, you have a tendency to bend that shaft, and definitely don't want that to happen. That just makes life miserable in the future. So each one of them will come back off a little bit at a time, just until I get the spring pressure off. I'll keep the push rods organized. I'll start at the front as number 1, and then 1 through 8. That'll keep me all in the same positions they came out of. They're all wore into each rocker up here. They're wore into the tappets. The tappet is wore into the camshaft, so even the tappets will be in the same slots they come out of. If all this stuff is going to replace new, it wouldn't make a difference, but if you plan on reusing this stuff, you're better off keeping it in the position they come out of. This stuff's all been wore individually to itself. I'm afraid if you start swapping parts here and there, you're going to have some different wear patterns. Could maybe cause problems in the future, may not, who knows. I don't want to take the chance, especially after you get an investment in an overhaul. To keep this stuff organized, I do have some racks over here that's been made up in the past. I've got one here, got the front, I'll label 1. Push rods will go into one spot. If you take the valves out ahead, you got room for the valves to go in here. This one down here with just construction screws in. That's for your valve springs, keepers, stuff like that. Got another one here that's been made up just for valves. You'll see the front is labeled 1, and you got your exhaust intake. Whatever they come out of, 1 through 8 is good. You don't necessarily have to do that. It's for future reference if you want to see when they come out of. You can go back to that cylinder and check it out. Got another one here just for push rods. Well, you could use it for valves, whatever. This is just some of that stuff's been made up temporarily. That seems to become permanent here. I don't know how that seems to happen. Anyway, it's working. I'm going to keep going with it. Crossover tube is loose. We'll get that out of the way. Usually put everything on this top end off these rockers, stuff like this. I'll just utilize the valve cover for that. Kind of nice keeping the components all together and organized. And we'll get started loosening up the rocker arms. Get that tube. We got an oil tube that comes up into the center here. That's down in the head. So we got to get that worked out. There we go. And we'll get the push rods organized. Starting with number 1, we'll just go right straight back. The engine, for the most part, on the top end looks awful clean, so shouldn't really be a big issue cleaning it up if the bottom looks as good as the top. Okay, next I'll start loosening that head up. We'll get that hooked up. I think I'll take the cherry picker to lift that. So next process, getting the head loose. Another thing I like to do when I loosen head bolts, I'll start from the end, just crack them loose and work to the middle. I'm not sure, it's a lot of times a recommended procedure. But that's what we're going to do, just gradually work them loose, takes the pressure off the gasket evenly. I've already started with these two, so them are loose. When I'm tearing an engine down, I like to look for clues if there's been previous work done on that. I'm down to the last 2 nuts here. I'll show you what I found inside the rocker cover. Okay, here's proof. Thing's been taken apart. It's got red paint on it, so I'm sure that this head has been off before. How much other work's been done on this, we'll yet to find out. Okay, all the nuts are off the head. You got the lift all set up to go. Let's tension her up and see how glued down this head is. Oh, we're coming loose already. Back anyway, starting to lift off the floor. I can hear her snapping and cracking in there. We'll just let her work. Give her a little more. It's got to be glued down pretty good if I can lift the engine. There we go. Let's see if we can work her off gradually here and see what we got down inside. Seems to be coming pretty even. Okay, got her loose. Okay, got the head off. Had to go up and get my other helper here. As you can see, a 2-wheel cart. I don't go lifting stuff like I used to. Probably 20 years ago I could have hoisted that off by hand, but I don't do that anymore. All that stuff is giving me back problems, bulged disc, herniated disc, broke my back in a couple spots in the past. So take it pretty careful, know my limits, and don't exceed them. So that's what that thing is for, and that's what the engine lift is for. So for the most part, I see nothing in there that looks serious. Just your normal carbon buildup. I checked the gasket. I didn't see any blow-by issues on that anyplace. That all looks pretty good for the most part. And the cylinder head, or cylinder block, it's not, like I said, we've already confirmed this thing has been worked on in the past. I did clean up a little bit, if you can see it right there, for the ridge. I see absolutely no ridge at all, or very little in that one. Go back to number 4. You can detect just a hair, but can't hardly snag it with my fingernail. Probably go and hone these out a little bit after it's cleaned up. Kind of check it. We'll do a dial indicator. I got a bore indicator. We can check for outer round taper, stuff like that, and see if we want to redo sleeves. Might get lucky and just have to do rings in her. That's the bare minimum I would do. I would not use the old rings again after a hone job. I'd put new ones in, let them get seated in. Next step, we're going to probably put her on the engine lift. I don't think I'm going to take this back plate off here. As you can see, it's bolted to the engine there. Might be a little bit more support on the engine stand, so I can still access the rear main seal, but I'll see what it's like when I get her up in the air and go from there. So this is probably going to be the end of day 3. Didn't work on it a whole awful lot today. Daughter's up, grandkids are up, so you got to spend a little time with them, spoil them and stuff like that. So another day, or tomorrow, we got a trip planned. Start a trip down to Iowa, take our parts down to the welding shop, get them done. And then I plan on hopefully having done in first part of September. We'll probably be taking a trip down to Missouri. That's my wife's in-laws are down there, see her brother, cousin, that kind of stuff. So that would be a good shot. If they got it done, I can swing in there, pick it up. Got a show down there I might attend. They got the Minneapolis Moline National down at Boonville, which is real close to her relation. So might give me an opportunity to talk to them guys and maybe pick up some parts we need. Until later, thanks for watching.